Thank you to Group A of first year students. Next, please watch the video presentation of Group B of first year students.
Hello everyone. We are first graders from the seminar of Associate Professor Horiguchi at Meiji University in Japan. We will talk about hidden curricula. Have you ever heard of hidden curricula? It is the messages concealed behind ordinary ones in school education that unconsciously infiltrate the mind of students. Examples include such things as the seating orders of boys and girls in the class, the gender of students who are class officers, and the ratio of men to women teachers in leadership positions. These are all examples of hidden curricula related to gender discriminations. There are other examples, but in this presentation, we will focus on gender discrimination. By the way, we think most Japanese at school don't notice things in the textbooks that may make them uncomfortable when they become aware of them. It took us a while to realize that something was off with the textbooks. Japanese language textbook, there are many expressions that give boys and girls fixed images such as the high frequency of male characters, or that love theme story presupposes heterosexual love exclusively. Given the possibility that one of the main reasons for the lack of women's entry into technology fields is that this hidden curriculum has created the impression that only men are engaged in these fields, we believe that education and educational materials are an important influence on the technology gender issue. We searched through Japanese language textbooks that were published in 2020 and 2021. This survey targeted Japanese language textbooks for 4th and 8th grade students published by 4 publishers.
First, we looked at stories in the textbooks. We found that more than half of the stories in the textbook were male-dominated. They had a male protagonist. These stories characteristically separate the men and women's personalities and jobs into traditional stereotypical ones. The men in the story are typically police, taxi drivers, and shoe store owners. On the other hand, female characters appear as mothers and grandmothers, and there are few female characters who have jobs. Some of the male characters have graduated from universities and started careers. This seems to be the ideal depicted for men. They become members of society, whereas women seem to disappear from public life. In these stories, the division of gender roles is hidden. The unspoken message is that men should work outside the home, and women should do household chores and child care. Also, it consistently assumes that men will uniformly choose to attend college and enter employment directly after graduation. The division of gender roles has created the image that women must do household and child care in the family, and that men don't need to participate in child care, which brings a great burden to women. A single parent being responsible for child care is justified by the textbooks. Women in dual-income families become more burdened with housework than men. Furthermore, this idea makes society celebrate women leaving work for housework. The euphemisms and language used for childbirth leave or for leaving work for homemaking celebrate or glorify women leaving work and contribute to the problem of women's low-wage work. The hidden roles and gender differences in textbook stories interfere with women's relationship to the working environment. On the other hand, men also suffer from this narrow image of life. Many people copy this path, so the ones who try to get out of this fixed framework of life get cold looks from people around them. In addition, because good universities facilitate employment in good companies, many men in high school choose to study one more year after they graduate so that they can enter a higher level university. As a result of this limited perception that there is only one correct life path, some people have committed suicide due to their failure to find a job. This perception of a single path puts so much pressure on young people that the phrase employment suicide evolved to describe it.
Next, we looked at illustrations in the textbooks. In the textbooks used by elementary school students, we found that there is a gender difference in color representation. Boys wear mostly cool colors and girls mostly warm colors. In middle school textbooks, Characters in the illustrations were students with school uniforms. In the textbooks, the boys were illustrated as having short hair and wearing pants and neckties. The girls were shown having long hair or pigtails and wearing skirts and ribbons. Also, the girls had prominent eyelashes that were not drawn on the boys. There were some illustrations of girls with short hair, but they only appeared a few times. If only two people were drawn on one page, a long-haired girl and a short-haired boy appear as a set, and there are no illustrations of boys-only or girls-only conversations. Japan is a country with particularly strong pressure to conform, and there is a noticeable tendency for people to want to be just like everyone else. So providing fixed images of appearance encourages that trend and leads to narrowing the freedom for people to dress as they like. In recent years, the diversity of one's identity and sexuality has come to be recognized by society, and the representation of genders because I'm a girl or because I'm a boy can be seen as going against this recent trend.
This is happening in beyond Japan as well. In our group, there are international students from Korea and China, countries with a low gender gap index, and many issues regarding gender equality as in Japan. Therefore, we also surveyed Korean and Chinese textbooks. First of all, we looked at Korean home economic textbooks and found a fixed gender perspective and textbook illustrations. In this illustration, the boy is playing pranks on the girl. In other illustrations, a boy throws away the garbage on the road, and the girl picks it up. It can be seen that the boys are mischievous and cheerful, and the girls are victims of a prank and have quiet and honest personalities. This stereotype can give children the idea that boys can bully girls and that girls should be quiet. In addition, there are illustrations in Korean textbooks that describe the division of gender roles, such that women should do housework and childcare. This illustration depicts a man helping with housework only when a woman's health is not good. We found out that the idea that women should do housework is the same in Korea. Next, we focused on men's and women's clothing. In the illustration, all women are wearing skirts and introducing the concept that skirts are appropriate for women. The content of the text balloon is the appropriate clothes are knit and are comfortable to move around in. However, can you say that skirts are comfortable to move around in? It would be unreasonable to exercise hard in a skirt, but the concept introduced in the textbook that it is ideal. Here too, it can be seen that Korea has a fixed image of men's and women's clothes.
Next, we looked at Chinese textbooks. Similar to what we noticed in Japan, the male characters in the story have jobs outside the home, and the females do housework. The Chinese textbook deal with many ancient stories such as the Three Kingdoms period, the stories of great historical figures, and the stories of wars. Its stories are almost all male-centered ones. In addition, women appear as persons who do childcare. Focusing on the illustrations, we noted that the illustrations showed more men than women. In addition, there are many illustrations of women wearing either skirts or pants, but when the women are wearing pants, the illustration shows us that they are women using ribbons and hairstyles. As mentioned above, a survey of textbooks in Korea and China shows that the division of sexual roles between men and women in these countries is the same as in Japan. Furthermore, Japanese and Chinese textbooks show that men usually appear in stories more than women. The images of men and women depicted in illustrations in textbooks vary from country to country, but we found that there are also descriptions that show fixed images of men and women. We were pleased to find that it is also true that textbooks are changing little by little. The Japanese language textbook for 8th grade, published by Kyoiku Publishing, has a curriculum that incorporates the SDGs, and the sentences dealt with are related to the 17 goals. Among them, there was a description about LGBT, and it was written that it is difficult in Japan to come out as having a same-sex partner. There was a mention of the harmful effect that same-sex couple face because they cannot get married. Also, the illustration showed a girl student wearing slacks. Only one page like this was found, but since it was not in other textbooks, it's seen as a positive change. This concludes our survey results. Sadly, just like in the textbooks we used in elementary and middle school, there are many stories in which the main characters are men. Texts still promote the stereotypes of men and women, and not only the text but also the illustrations give a sexist impression. After all, there is a hidden curriculum. People use what they learn early in life as the basis for their future ways of living and thinking. If we continue to overlook the hidden curriculum and allow the impressions of sexism to be planted in our society will go on. Recently, however, the impact of an increasing number of people speaking out against these discriminatory practices has had an effect. Textbooks are starting to show diversity around sex, little by little. Some people may think that nothing will change just by changing the number of men and women published in textbooks or changing the color of clothes. But such a trivial difference has a big impact on the formation of values of children. They become the adults who create society tomorrow. And the teacher is greatly involved in the formation of these values. We think that teachers need to improve their understanding of what I want to tell their children through education. Based on this presentation, we hope that there will be no sexist hidden curricula and that a society that is tolerant of more diverse natures will be realized. For our part, we will continue to investigate and disseminate our findings. Thank you for listening.